Ladies and gentlemen, this is Judge Captain speaking. We're currently flying 964 bound to Seoul Airport International Airport. Currently cruising at 22,000 feet. Winning ground support at 15 miles per hour.
Good morning and welcome back to another video. Well, I thought I would start today's video in the same location where I ended yesterday's video, outside Busan Station. Today we'll be flying with T-Way Air, another low-cost carrier based in Korea, which flies to destinations in East and Southeast Asia. Outside of Asia, they fly as far away as Sydney, Australia. And unfortunately, we're not going to be flying as far as that today. We'll just be taking a quick domestic flight back to Seoul. Flight is set to depart at 1:10 in the afternoon, and it's just about 10 o'clock in the morning right now. So come along, looks like we have another fabulous day as we go from A to B. Busan Station has been here since the early 1900s in one form or another. The present building we see here was constructed 20 years ago in 2003. Can you believe 20 years already? And it's a hub of transportation for the city. In addition to the KTX and rail lines, there is the underground metro and bus transportation outside. I particularly like the large atrium in the center of the station with its large signage, and even larger advertisements and plenty of natural light. Should you find yourself here, you should have little trouble navigating the station. Furthermore, the station is also a hub for your morning, or any time of the day really, caffeine boost. To reach the airport from Busan Station, it's a simple task of jumping on the subway. The trip takes a couple transfers, but like the station, the metro system is fairly easy to work your way through. And 3 trains later we reach Kime International Airport, the official name of the airport serving the Busan area. The terminal was built in the 70s, and the architecture, low ceilings, polished granite, and utilitarian design is reminiscent of that era. T-Way's check-in is on the left side of the terminal, and like many low-cost carriers, it's a good idea to check how heavy your bags are, and looks like I'm in the clear yet again. I employed the kiosk to check in, which worked well, though we'll see in a bit I do run into a roadblock, and you may too. After checking in, there was still some time to kill, so I made my way upstairs. This patio looks like a nice spot to rest for a bit, doesn't it? There is also a small food court tucked away in the corner, so I thought why not? And I settled on this tteokbokki set, and I love the spiciness of the sauce, it's so good. I'm going to have to hit up Shin-Okubo, Koreatown in Tokyo, or Bloor and Christie in Toronto, and pick up some of this afterwards. Alright, well that was a nice little restaurant food court corner over there. Lunch was really delicious, I really enjoyed it. Anyways, it's about 11:55 now, so I think the street side of this airport kind of ran its course for myself, so let's go ahead and jump through security and switch on the other side of the airport. Alright, well that was an interesting experience. It was the first time I encountered an ID check before you even get to the security. And on my ticket, it just has my first name and my last name. It does not have my middle name. And I believe when I booked the ticket, and a lot of these airline companies in Asia, there's no text field for a middle name, so I didn't include it, or else I would have. And so my boarding pass did not match my passport because I have a middle name, so they won't let me through. So they said, go back to the T-Way desk, which I did, and the lady just writes in my name and puts a stamp on it, and that works. So I'm through now, and we have about 20 minutes until we board. And another thing, I don't know if it's this airport thing or a Korea thing, but you can't take pictures of the aircraft on the apron. There's stickers on the window saying there's no photography, so I guess unless you can take a picture in Seoul, you're not going to be able to see the airplane from the outside. I guess that's the way it is. Anyways, yeah, 20 minutes I think until we board, and just hang out until then. There's really not too much gate side Just a whole bunch of chairs, but other than that, there's nothing too much over here. Not only are there no photographs or videos allowed from inside the terminal, but also during the taxi and takeoff, and passengers are reminded about this consistently, both inside the terminal and on board the plane. With the airport now behind us, cameras back on, and we're safe to proceed with T-Way Air's scouting report. T-Way Air began operations back in 2010. This is indeed a 737-800 with 189 seats and 3 lavatories, one of 25 in their fleet. This 16-year-old plane first flew with Pacific Blue and Virgin Australia before joining T-Way in 2015. The quick 40-minute flight would take us northwest across the country towards the capital. The single cabin is in a standard 3-3 seating configuration with blue seatbacks. The beige seats are basic, with blue seat belts and T-Way's logo stitched on top. Seatbacks are low-cost carrier style, with the top portion only containing a coat hook. Below the table is a pocket which has a safety card, in-flight magazine, and duty-free catalog, as this plane is used on international routes. Seat pitch is 29 inches, and as you can see, you'll have difficulty stowing anything larger than a standard backpack below. And above you have access to the reading light and air control. The aircraft is not Wi-Fi equipped, nor are there power outlets on board, so be sure to have anything you need appropriately charged. As always, I take a moment to invite new viewers to subscribe for continued aviation and travel related content. This is my third of 4 videos from this trip to Korea, and the next one is going to be the big one, as we'll enjoy Asiana's last 747-400. What a treat. On a short flight like this, there is no drink service, so this is a case where bringing your own water is a very wise idea. To pass the time, you can peruse through the magazine, which has their in-flight menu, and this is what you can expect to be offered on international flights. And here's an advertisement with times for their Seoul to Sydney route with their A330. It would be interesting to see how they operate a long-haul flight, and a trip to Australia is always a good call. Other than the magazines, you have the wonderful country below passing you by to enjoy. Overall, this was a nice appetizer of a flight. I'd be interested to see how they perform and compare to other low-cost carriers, such as Air Seoul or Jetstar on longer international routes. I always like to share how I book with low-cost carriers, as the price is an important factor when considering an airline. Happily, T-Way's website was easy to use. The initial ticket provided a seat, 10 kilograms of carry-on, and 15 kilos of checked baggage. Quite generous as far as low-cost carriers are concerned. The only add-on I selected was the window seat for about $4 before paying. The price of this trip came out to 45,900 Korean won, or about $47, quite possibly my cheapest flight to date. Alright, so that's a look at a domestic T-Way Air flight from Busan to Seoul. And overall, a very quick flight, very similar to a Tokyo to Osaka or Toronto to Ottawa flight. The flight itself, not too much to speak of. There's no drink service, there's no in-flight entertainment, so it's literally just a method to get from A to B. And actually, we landed at about 2:30 and we left Busan Station at 10. So almost about the same amount of time as when we did the premium bus. So you're really not saving too much time when you factor in getting to the airport and being there a little bit earlier before your flight. But overall, it was a nice day to go flying, and we're here at, we're back in Seoul at 2:30. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought about T-Way Air, and I'll catch you in the next episode.